Hey guys, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Homemaker and welcome back yet again. I'm getting all of these videos recorded so that they can go out and you guys, we can start digging into our zones. Here is we are doing a minimalist minded and biblically based approach to the FlyLady system. And if you guys have been around FlyLady at all, you know the zones are a really big deal. So super excited to dig into these with you guys. Of course, the first couple of videos this week, we've been making sure that we are focusing on our children's time in God's Word, the influences in our home over our children and ourselves, and then looking at, I asked you guys to look at the different zones and put together either your zone list, and then your kids will just be working alongside of you with it. Not that they're doing it and you do nothing. We are working alongside of one another, even if you have older kids, right? But that's how we train them up, is by doing the work alongside of them. So you can either have separate lists of separate tasks for your kids, or just have your kind of master list that everybody is going to be working off of. But the idea with FlyLady, hello Zoe, the puppy's over here now. The idea with FlyLady is basically we have our weekly home blessing hour, and that's where we take 1 hour each week, and it's kind of like an extended 5-minute room rescue, right? We said the 5-minute room rescue, which I have my kids do every evening, and it's something I kind of keep in my back pocket. So if I ever just need to do a quick thing, I set my timer for 5 minutes, and hey, if company were getting ready to walk in the door, what would you straighten up and fix up real quick? That's what the 5-minute room rescue is. Where I feel like the weekly home blessing hour is kind of just an extended period of that. So the weekly home blessing hour, I've got 6 different tasks, maybe 7 if some of them take under 10 minutes, where you set your timer and spend 10 minutes on each. So vacuum the floors, kind of do a couple different things, wipe everything down. That way your home, everything has been taken care of, but it's not necessarily deep cleaning each and every area. But I can do my weekly home blessing hour in 1 hour or less sometimes, because I know that each week I have a zone focus, and that is that deep cleaning, spring cleaning, nitty gritty, kind of getting into everything. And so when I'm doing my weekly home blessing hour, I'm not getting distracted by, I need to wipe down the baseboards. That needs to be done. Oh my gosh, there's that. I'm not getting distracted all over the place, because I know that I have a system in place for tackling all of those things. So I don't need to worry about it. I can trust the system. I know we're going to get there. So this zone cleaning area, you guys, this is where for me, we've been doing 15 minutes each afternoon working on decluttering. Hopefully you've been doing this the whole way through. You cannot clean clutter. So we have to get rid of it. We have to minimize. We have to scale back. Again, I say it every time. It goes back to being a heart issue. Are you eternally minded? Are you focused on the Lord's return and your eternity to live with him? Or are you focused on the things of this world and storing up your treasures here, right? We have to look at the heart of the issue on everything, and minimizing, decluttering, and all of that goes hand in hand with that. For me, the more and more I read God's Word, the more and more I looked at these things and understood them, the more and more I said, why am I holding on to all of this stuff? Do I need it? If our world was rocked and turned upside down tomorrow, would it matter that we had all of this junk and all of this stuff? Do we have the things that we truly need and appreciate the resources the Lord gives us? Or are we holding on to excess? What things can I let go of? What things can I give to someone truly in need? What things do we not need to have? Because the more we have, the more it costs, the more work it is to keep up on everything, the more stress and everything. And again, the more and more it's pointing our hearts to this world and not to eternity, not to living for the eternal state with the Lord. So that's a big topic there that we have to really, really focus on. So the really cool thing with FlyLady is she sets up 5 different zones. And starting next week, I am going to start working through my zones and recording it to share with you guys. So this week I want us to get everything set up and ready, and then next week I will start sharing with you guys, as I do it as well, working through the different zones. So FlyLady, these are her zones, and of course adjust them accordingly for the spaces that you have at your home. Maybe you don't have some of these rooms, or whatever the case may be, adjust accordingly. But zone 1 is kind of starting with like the The patio entrance dining area is the first section there. So we do have, we have 8 acres, but up here right off of the house, we have a little patio and we've put up our little cheapo fencing back here. So that way we have a space for the baby that's a safe space right off of the house that she can come out and play. It is a place where clutter just constantly gets attracted because the kids, they're coming in and out. We're working on some construction projects in the house, so there's like construction stuff out here, and it's kind of just one of those spots. So it needs some attention, some thorough attention every month. And every month we will work through all of these zones. So guys, all of these zones, these will be things that are all addressed on a monthly cycle, okay? Then we do not have a actual like entrance, special foyer or anything like that. Maybe you do, so that can be on yours. We don't. When you walk into our home, you basically walk into our dining room. So for us, that kind of works out well that the dining room is part of that because it really is just one space for us. It's okay if it's not for you. If you kind of walk in and you have an entry space and then your dining room is elsewhere, that's okay. You can still kind of hit all of these in kind of one fell swoop with zone 1. So zone 1 is hitting that entrance space and the dining room. Zone 2 is the kitchen. The kitchen gets to be its own space because let's just be for real, the kitchen's a lot. So the kitchen and everything that can include your pantry, that is the second zone. The third zone would be the bathroom, a child's room, and any extra areas. So zone 3, I've got, we have 2 bathrooms in our house. So we have our master bathroom and then we have our bathroom, or the hall bathroom, which is the kids' bathroom. If you have multiple different bathrooms on top of that, you can always rotate through them and kind of work through it that way. But we have our kids' bathroom, our kids' bedrooms. So our girls, our older girls, they share a bedroom. Our son has his own room, and then the baby's in with us. But the girls' room, and then our son's room, and then I added the office. That's my husband's office that he works out of, does all of his sermons out of. We do podcasting out of, and we're actually getting ready to kind of swap rooms down in the basement and give him so we have another room that is a little more soundproof that we're going to move him into. So we've got a lot of work down there to be doing. And then I also added on our laundry room onto this list. So with zone 3 there, having our extra areas, that doesn't mean that every month we're going to hit every single one of the extra areas. We're going to hit like the bathroom and the kids' bedrooms. Obviously, if you don't have kids' bedrooms, if you have guest bedrooms or any extra bedrooms in your home, you can add those onto the list in place of the kids' bedroom. And then we can rotate. So maybe this month I will work on the laundry room. Next month, I'll do the detailed cleaning in the office. So you might not necessarily get all of those extra rooms every single month, and that's okay. Just pick one of the extra rooms to work on this month, and next month you can work on a different extra room. So the fourth zone is the master bedroom. So master bedroom, master bathroom, your closets, kind of all of that space for you. That's the deep detailed cleaning for those spaces there. And then zone 5 is the living room. So living room, family room, depending on whatever you have. If you need to alternate, you can do that as well. Again, depending on what rooms you have in your home, adjust them accordingly for you. So if you need to make some little adjustments for the different zones, you can definitely do that. But you want to have gone through each of those rooms and made a list of, if I were going to top to bottom, literally from ceiling to floor and then going around in a circle, if I were to deep clean every single thing in that space, what all would I need to do? List all of those things out for the different zones, okay? You've probably already done this, but if not, go ahead and do that. I have just listed them out, literally, let me go to like the kitchen. Clean the stove and oven. Wash the canisters and countertop appliance. Straighten drawers and cupboards. Wash inside windows. Scrub down the cabinet fronts. Clean under the sink. Throw away any old rags and bottles. Clean the pet dishes. Tidy up the pantry. Clear and clean the fridge top. Swap out seasonal mugs. I do that, you guys. I am a mugaholic. I would have all of the mugs, but in my journey to minimalism, I have kept 2 mugs for each season, and then I can swap them out seasonally. So that helps me keep control of what I have going on there. Wash the pantry curtains. We have curtains up over our pantries because the doors need to be redone, but we haven't gotten to that. So right now we have curtains. If you have curtains on any of the windows, you could do those too. Wipe down the walls and door frames and wipe down the baseboards. So that's just a sample of what I have for my kitchen job. So again, looking at each room from the ceiling down to the floor, what would you do to get this place like move-in ready, spick and span, spring cleaning, whatever you want to call it? What would you do with all of those things? I have opted, oops, let me go help my puppy. All right, the puppy couldn't get in the fence. So she's figured out a way to get out of the fence and run around the property, but she, for the life of her, cannot get back in. So I have opted on my list, since I've already, when I put mine together, this is everything that needs to be done in all of the spaces, including the kids' room. I have opted for the kids to not have separate zone lists, but to just work with me on mine. So there's nothing separate for the kiddos. I figured that we can swap it up because I want my kids to know how to do all of the jobs, not just one part of it. So every time that we go through the zone, I will pick, or the kids can have a pick on which task for the zone that they want to work on and be responsible for. And that gives me an opportunity to work alongside them and to help them become truly proficient in that job. I like things done a certain way, but I understand that kids need to be encouraged to be able to help at whatever skill level they are at. So me working alongside of them allows me to teach them the way that I feel is the proper way to get the task done, but also allowing them to do it themselves and to work so that way they should be improving every time. So some of these jobs may not get done to kind of mom standard necessarily, but the children are learning and they get to bless the family and be a part of the contributing, kind of work here for the household. And I think that's really, really important to help them kind of build up their skills and learn through that. So that is my plan here to go through the zones with my kiddos. So we are going to start next week. Like I said, I'm going to jump in, and for the next few weeks, I want to go through all of the zones at least like one complete time with you guys. So I'm going to go through and share with you guys videos of how we are working through our zones. I will be using FlyLady's model for what weeks we're doing what zones, just because I think it works efficiently. So we will be doing that starting next week. So be sure to subscribe and tap the little bell icon so you get those videos starting next week as we work through the zones. But let's talk a little bit before we get into these. I work on the zones 15 minutes each afternoon, okay? So far for 15 minutes each afternoon, you guys, we've been doing decluttering. You can't clean clutter. We've said that a million times, but you can't. You have to get all of the junk and all of the excess out of there. If your home is full of a lot of excess, if you are drowning in all of the stuff, keep getting rid of the clutter, okay? Do not stress and worry about deep cleaning everything when the room is packed to the brim full of just a bunch of junk that you don't need to have and you need to get it out of there, okay? You can go ahead and use the zones to be your point of focus, and each day spend 15 minutes in that space clearing out stuff that you don't need, all right? We're always going to keep minimizing isn't just a one-time thing. You don't just minimize one time and then you're a minimalist and everything stays that way. Especially if you're a large family, you got a lot of moving pieces, stuff is always coming in, stuff is always changing. So decluttering and getting rid of excess is always going to be something that we work on as we move through these different zones. But if you are truly drowning in all of the stuff that you have, keep focusing on that before you dive into kind of the nitty-gritty deep cleaning, okay? So every afternoon for 15 minutes, we're going to continue to set our timers and work on these zones. That's Monday through Friday. If you don't want to do zone work on the weekends, that's fine. You don't have to do that. I know for us, weekends are really busy because we've got church and everything that we do as far as ministry. So for us, it's a very, very busy time. But zone work for us, Monday through Friday, even with school, even with all of the things going on, it works right into our schedule. Again, because it's 15 minutes. You can fit in 15 minutes for anything. And you should have already been doing 15 minutes every day of decluttering since we started the baby steps. So really, you're already kind of in that habit of spending 15 minutes working on your home each day. And that leaves you so much time in your day to do whatever else you need to be doing. So this week, you can go ahead and finish up in one of the zones if you would like, or maybe work on a little bit of each zone each day. But if not, you can spend these next, little bit as we're going through the zones, kind of decluttering before you start diving in and cleaning. If you feel that you are at an acceptable level that you've been decluttering and you can start kind of getting in and doing some deep cleaning, still adding in some decluttering each week, then that's good. You can go ahead and dive in with your zone list as well. But if you need to do more decluttering, it is a great way. So when we're in zone 1, focus on decluttering your patio and dining room. When we move on to zone 2, focus on decluttering your kitchen, and so on and so forth as we move through the different zones. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully so. It does in my head, but hopefully it comes out that way. So go ahead this week, make sure your zone lists are all put together. If you're going to do separate ones for the kiddos, do that. Whatever you need to do, talk with the kids and let them know that you've put this together. And each afternoon, we're going to spend 15 minutes and work through different areas of the home to just get that space really deep cleaned, really cleared out, everything looking really good, and then it makes it really simple, and we don't have to have these like marathon days where we're scrubbing down the entire house or letting it go for a really long time and things get really grungy and really gross, and then it's a lot of work to do when you finally work on it, right? We don't want this to be a seasonal thing. We want it to be just a regular part of our daily schedules and a monthly kind of cycle that we work through, so that way everything's always getting a little bit of attention and keeping everything nice and neat, and then things don't get out of control. It really makes a big difference. So that's what we're working on. This week, if you want to just finish up decluttering, you can do that. If you would if you would like to dive into one of the zones and start doing a little bit of cleaning, you can definitely do that as well. I will go ahead and post the FlyLady kind of cycle for moving through the different zones down in the comments below. Usually it's like the first part of the month, that first week we're in zone 1, the first full week we're in zone 2, then 3, then 4, and then zone 5 would be that last little portion that we have of the month until we get to the next zone. So I will go ahead and post those down below so you guys can take a peek at that if you would like to start diving into one of the zones. And then starting next week, I will post my videos with you guys of the zone for that week and the work that we are doing, so you guys can come and work alongside of me and my family as we go through the zones. And guys, I'm telling you, we have a very, very busy schedule right now. I have curriculum for the homeschool that I am writing. We have just the church and ministry. We have construction that's going on in our home and all kinds of crazy things that we have going on in our own family that I can't share all of the details with you all yet, but hopefully within the next couple of months, we will finally be able to share. I'm hoping. We were supposed to have news back in the spring, but then everything with the crazy world started going on, so everything's been delayed. So hopefully we'll have some really big, exciting news now. If you guys can keep our family in prayer, we would highly appreciate it. But hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys soon. We got a lot on our plates, but we can even fit in 15 minutes every afternoon to tackle a couple of these jobs, get them done, and really bless our home. And guys, it is such a help for me because then I'm not stressed out. I'm not worrying about these things. I'm not stressing about it, because when that starts to creep up, I go, hey, I have a system. I have a plan in place. I can do it. It's doable. 15 minutes, I can do that. Some days, maybe I'll spend more time. If I have some more time, I totally will and get a few things done. But I know that I can carve out 15 minutes and get done what I can for that day. I can check off that day, move on to the next. That really is a big help for me. It allows me to sleep at night in my nicely made bed every day. So that for me is a big help, and so I hope it helps you guys as well. If you have any questions about the zones, please ask them down below. I will answer them as we can, so that way we can be ready. And next week, we're going to dive in. Next week, we're going to get started, and I cannot wait. I have been purposefully not working in my zones these past few weeks, so that way when I jump into it, it'll be just like you guys jumping into it, and that way we're all going into it together. And so I'm noticing things around my house that really need to be cleaned, but I haven't done it yet because I want to do it with you guys as well. So that is what we're diving into. We've got all of our rhythms in place, our routines, our focuses, our priorities, our time in God's word, our time in prayer, our little intentional steps every morning and evening to get ourselves up and ready, our home up and ready, and then every evening to make sure we're hitting our, one load a day and keeping our laundry up and putting out hot spots and things of that nature. We've got our kids with a nice simple routine so that way they can be brought in as well. Now that we've established those things, we can dive into the nitty nitty-gritty stuff. So here we are, guys. We're ready to do it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will be back next week and we will dive into our first zone that we are going to be tackling together as a community of support for one another, whatever you want to call us. That's what we're going to be doing. So you guys have a great week. I hope you enjoy it. Come over and join us for church if you haven't already and you're looking for somewhere to dive into God's word. Anything that we can do to help, please let us know. We've got various different Bible studies and things like that out. Besides the fact my husband and I are always available to you guys. If there's anything we can ever do, in just prayer or fellowship, questions, support, counsel, whatever it might be, please reach out. We are happy to serve in any way the Lord will allow us. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. Bye, guys.